Leading, supporting, collaborating. Welcome to the Online Lounge, Network Cork's podcast series.
Hello and welcome to Network Cork podcast series. New for 2023, we're actually going to take a theme for a short mini series. And the theme that we're exploring today and starting from today is all about coaching. What it is, what to do to become a coach, how to know if you need a coach, how to identify the right coach for you. Today we're recording at M5 Studio in Cork, supported by the ever able and wonderful Coco. And my name is Maeve Lankford. I'm your host for this mini-series, and as you might anticipate, given our theme, I am a coach. I describe myself as a transformational coach, empowering my clients to design and create lives that they love living. And then I teach the mindset and the strategy to actually bring that dream vision to fruition. So I'm also a mom of 3 adult sons. I'm partner to Andrew, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, and I'm a network member. And I love my life. And I think life really is too precious for us not to be making the most of it. And one of the key ways that we can really do that for ourselves is to engage with a coach. I would say that my coach keeps me accountable and supports me in staying in the stretch, always growing, always getting better. So I come to this podcast mini-series as both coach and coachee, and we're going to explore it all here together. And joining me today is the lovely Anna Healy. Anna is a business and mindset coach, and her offer to her clients is that she will be our wing woman and lead us to success. So what's not to love about that? So Anna, we're both members of Network Cork, Network Ireland. You're in the West Cork branch, I'm in the Cork branch, and you also play a very important role within the network as convener of the Network Ireland Mentoring Initiative. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today as well. But first of all, just to get to know you and have our listeners get to know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the kind of coaching that you do?
Okay, thank you very much for having me here. I'm truly delighted and excited. Okay, so I am a mindset and confidence coach. I have been coaching for about 15 years, but I've been working with people for the last 25 years. I qualified a long, long time ago in social care. So I worked with young people to help them, I suppose, work on their challenges, to help them support them through into independent life. So I've always been supporting people. And then back in 06, I moved down to West Cork and I got a really fantastic job with Employability, which is a supported employment organisation.
Yes.
And my role there was a job coach. And as a job coach, I was there to support people who were recovering from illness, injury, disability, people who had mental health issues, maybe after accidents, strokes, heart attacks, cancer, all sort of, I suppose, obstacles that have shown up in their lives, I suppose, and challenges that they have to live through. And my role was to support them in finding and keeping work. So part of that then, I suppose, is that I've always worked with people from a holistic perspective.
Yes.
Because for me, it's really important, for someone even who's trying to find work, it's really important that they have those supports around them in order to actually be successful in work. So if you're homeless, it's kind of hard to find and keep a job,
Sure.
If you're unwell or if you're not getting the support from home, then it just makes life a little bit more complicated. So my role really is to help people find, and I suppose in that it was find and keep work, but it's about helping them to achieve the best result for themselves within their own abilities, parameters, but also stretching a little bit as well.
Sure.
And I absolutely adored that work. I absolutely adored working with my clients. But after, I suppose, 13 years of working there, I got married during that time. I bought my house, I had my kids and all that kind of thing. And I just felt, I suppose, after 13 years, I felt I needed a bit of a stretch. I felt maybe I was going a little bit stagnant. I had done so many courses. I had done so much training. I had worked with so many clients. And I just felt that I needed to push myself a little bit at that time. So I was mad for road at that time. And I can be a little bit all or nothing, so right, let's go do it, So I went, yes, we're going to do this.
And you mentioned you spoke to a coach at that time.
Yes.
Yes.
So at that time, I was, I suppose, like that. I was feeling a little bit lost. And I had decided that I'd go see a coach. And basically, what we realized was that I wanted something more. That was one thing. We only started, it was literally probably one session, but that I needed something more. And what she had actually suggested during that time was that why not, I hadn't done a coaching course at that time. So why not embrace a coaching course, learn all, I suppose, the skills to be a coach, but also do it for yourself.
Yes.
Don't do it for anybody else. Don't do it as a requirement. Do it for yourself. And I will say it was completely life-changing. I signed up for the course. I was literally after having a baby. I was just completely busy. I had set up my own kind of business at that time as well. And I decided, right, that's it. There is no good time. I'm just going to have to do this.
Yes.
And I signed up, and I remember going on the first day of my course, and everybody was going, oh, I'm doing this because, for work and for this and for that. And I remember the trainer coming to me and he goes, why'd you do it? And I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me. I want to learn more about me, and it was just and I felt really proud of that as well, Sure. So I suppose what I'm saying is that I've lived it.
Yes.
I've been there. I've had lots of different kind of experiences in terms of, burnout, stress, being a parent, being a businesswoman, feeling stagnant, feeling lost, feeling, stuck. And I have had that. But I also know, like I said, back to the holistic, I knew I had to come back to me to work that out.
Yes.
It wasn't anybody else's fault that I was there where I was. I had to take responsibility. I had to identify it, So the coaching course at that time was a complete game changer for me. And I think from the time I started doing that course, I knew that I wouldn't be where I was for very long, because I was just continually evolving and I was continually learning. So that was a major kind of learning for me. So then anyway, after my coaching course, and I had been 13 years in the company, I decided I was going to take a chance. And actually, I think what happened was I joined Network Ireland around the same time.
Okay.
Down in West Cork. They was surrounded by lots of absolutely amazing, powerful, energetic, motivational businesswomen, all self-employed. And I thought, you know what, if they can do it, maybe I could try it.
Yes.
So I was surrounded by all that. I had the structure and the support of the coaching course completed. And obviously I had the support of my family as well around me saying, listen, if you want to try this. So I took a career break and I haven't come back. And I started as a mindset and confidence coach. So kind of that's where I am right now. In terms of, you mentioned the wing woman, that took time to evolve as well. So just, I suppose for me, the learning there is that, it's always, and I always tell this to my clients, test it, try it, test, review. Yes. And at least if you go in there with a bit of curiosity, you have a chance to kind of feel that it's not, I suppose a lot of people use the word failure or, mistake, or there's no such things. They're happy coincidences or, minor tweaks. I'm very much about using the mindset around how we approach things. But anyway, so after a lot of experimentation and evolving, I suppose, Wing Woman is basically a coaching program that I support mostly women. I have had men. I am a wing woman, and a wing woman is someone who's on your side. Yes. You think about Batman and Robin, so a wing woman is there on the sidelines, always there supporting you, has your back, has always, believes in you, completely believes in you. A wing woman is there on the good days, but it's also there with the tissues on the bad days. Because I think that's really important, that you can go to someone and say, listen, this doesn't work and it was an absolute disaster or whatever it is, but let's see how we can work this out. So I'm there to support my clients through whatever challenges or plans. What I have is, I suppose I work with a lot of women in business who have a plan. They may be starting out where they want to build their business, start their business, and they're absolutely terrified, a bit like what I was 4 years ago. and they need that extra confidence, that the extra belief from somebody else as well, that they can do this and that they can find a clear path.
I often say that to my clients as well, to believe in my belief until they build their own.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody has potential that we don't see in ourselves.
Yes.
And so, yes, that's what I do, Wing Woman. And then I support, I also have another program or an online coaching and mentoring group called the Lighthearted Women, which is for women in business as well. And we meet on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So it's group coaching and mentoring.
Super.
So they're my two kind of offerings, I suppose.
And if you were thinking of any of our listeners listening today, like what would be the thing for you? You went into coaching as a career change in a way. For when you think of some of your clients, maybe what are the reasons that cause people to go looking for a coach? Why, anybody listening, if there's stuff going on in their lives, what might be some of the things that coaching could help them with?
Yeah. Gosh, there's lots of, like, it's my tagline is everyone needs a wing woman, and it is true. I suppose there are lots of different areas that you can look at in terms of life, in terms of career, in terms of business, in terms of health, in terms of well-being. I suppose the first thing you need to do is to look at where are the areas you're feeling stuck. And I suppose some people come because they do feel stuck.
Yeah.
They feel that they're ready to take another step, but they're maybe afraid or they don't know. So the stuck piece can be based on fear, or it could be just they need to get some clarity.
Yes.
People come as well to me when maybe they have outgrown the life that they have right now. And I kind of think about it as almost like the cardboard box, and that we live in a box, and every so often we kind of put little extensions onto the box, and sometimes those extensions are compromises.
Yes.
So sometimes we kind of compromise just to keep the kind of the easy keel, if that makes it, to keep it nice and steady and keep it easy.
Yes.
Sometimes we just need to rattle the box a little bit.
Yeah.
And expand it out, or sometimes we just
get out of it altogether.
Throw the bloody blocks out and build a whole new house.
Exactly.
So there's I suppose people come when they feel a bit stagnant, when they feel a bit lost, when they have maybe a bigger idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes what happens is I remember specifically working with a client, and she'd been in business for a long time, but the phrase that she used was that she was tipping away. She was doing all right.
Coasting.
She was coasting.
Yes.
But she said that she felt just a little bit stagnant, stuck in the mud. So by working with her, she completely, I suppose, her business completely transformed. Her mindset around her business, same offering was there, but how she approached it, how she worked it. I mean, her customers, she basically, I think, her income increased like a third the following year, which is massive. So she was doing fine. And a lot of the time we feel like we're doing fine.
Yes.
But so there is no reason why you there isn't, in terms of moving forward, if you have a goal, or if you don't have a goal and you're feeling a bit aimless.
Yeah.
I do, I remember an old mentor used to say, you're like a boat without a rudder.
Yes.
If you feel like you're going around in circles, then a coach is there to help you kind of clear that path as well. So they're not going to fix it for you.
They support you to work through it.
Yeah. They help you identify which path you take. Because everybody has a very different perspective on what their path looks like.
I would say for myself, when I went out in business on my own, and initially I had some coaching support as I was developing my own coaching skills as well. And then for about 3 years, I had still a coaching supervision, and I, still did a couple of courses and things on business growth and all of that. But my income, I was so frustrated. I was stuck at that kind of same level of income. And I decided to go back into coaching. And I would say within 6 months like that, I broke 6 figures for the first time. And that was coaching. It was that was the difference, because I was just going around in circles. And we don't know what we don't know. Sure, we don't. And that's what we need a bit of help with.
But sometimes we do know. We still won't do it.
Well, or we've a longing for it, or a desire for it, and we're just afraid.
Yeah,
and fear gets in the way.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah. There's a great quote from Einstein who said that you can't solve a problem at the level of a problem, or you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created it, that you have to go to a higher perspective. And I think for me, I believe that that's what coaching is about in a way, is to be with somebody who can raise your perspective and raise your thinking, raise your mindset to the level where the solution exists.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you were to imagine, some of our listeners today are thinking, maybe I need a coach. So again, if they're members in particular, we have a support structure available within Network Ireland where people can tap into some support. Maybe you could talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, the Mentoring for Success.
Yes.
So it is 5 years old, and it is a huge benefit to the members because it's completely free. So basically what it is that it's a service. Mentoring for Success is a service that provides mentoring available to all the members in Network Ireland. There are about 50 mentors on the panel, and they all come from very different perspectives. Sure. In that we have 8 different categories at the moment, and we're thinking of adding possibly 1 or 2 more categories this year in terms of kind of what the offering is about. So we have health and wellness, we have professional development, we have HR, we have marketing, finance. So we've a broad range. We even have one around networking and communications. Wonderful. So basically what it is that when I say 50 mentors, there are 50 women who are members of Network Ireland who have offered who are volunteering to be available to give mentoring to other members in Network Ireland. So you can call it, there's a couple of different phrases around mentoring, and this would be called peer mentoring. So it's somebody who has expertise in a particular area. So say, for example, social media, it could be someone who's an accountant, we have an auctioneer on there. Mm-hmm. We have someone on menopause, a coach, and then we also have somebody who is craniosacral around mother and baby. So it's so broad. Diverse, that we're trying to cover all different aspects because we are multifaceted, like we have multi-needs, Absolutely. So the idea is to keep it as holistic and as broad as possible. So the idea then is that if, for example, you had a need in a particular area, such as, like that, we'll say menopause, or say, for example, I need to get some social media sorted, or I'm thinking about a marketing plan, then you can go on to the panel, you can have a look on the panel, which is on the website, and you can identify probably 3 or 4 people immediately who might actually be able to help you get a sense of where you're at. Now, it's 45-minute session, so let's be clear.
It's not going to solve the world
here.
Yes.
But what it will do is, and what we've heard from other people, is that it gets clarity. It helps you gain a little bit of clarity in that 45 minutes.
Yes.
It could help you solve one problem that you may not have been able to see when they might, as you said, the higher perspective, somebody who's been there, done that, bought the t-shirt and can actually guide you. They may know people who might help you in that direction as well. Or it could be what we've heard from some members. It's like one of the ladies, she said she walked out with a pep in her step because the mentor told her, do you know what, you're actually doing everything fine. You're actually doing all right there, because sometimes we have our own doubts, and fears. But if you hear somebody else outside going, well, actually, no, that makes perfect sense, and where you're going is exactly where you need to go.
It's just that little bit of encouragement and reassurance.
Yeah. Now, I suppose the things that we say to people is that, the mentors, it is all voluntary. It's only 45 minutes. So we're not expecting miracles. Some miracles do happen, but we're not expecting them. We're looking just for like that touch of confidence, I suppose, from somebody who knows more, The other side is they're not consultants, so they're not going to do it for you. So if you're going to ask a social media question, they're not going to do your posting for you. Now, if you like them a lot and you really think that they'd be a good fit to your business, then you can go talk to them outside of the mentoring, to a certain extent, if you want to do that. But it's an opportunity for you to experience mentoring, to experience what other people's perspectives are in relation to something that you might need advice around or support around. So that's kind of what the mentoring does. Now, It's peer mentoring, I said, but it's also micro mentoring. It's a lovely new term. So the micro mentoring means, because there's a lot of programs out there. This is not a program. It's a once-off session.
It's just a session, a taster.
It's a taster.
So Anna, I'm really conscious that this is a coaching mini-series, and we're talking about mentoring. And I think for many people, there's a lot of confusion about, what is the difference between coaching, mentoring, maybe therapy, a consultant. So let's just stick with coaching and mentoring today.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this as something that could be helpful when we're talking about coaching at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we've talked about coaching in terms of, coaching is all about helping people achieve their goals or get clarity or get accountability. There can be an overlap between coaching and mentoring. Because some coaches are so experienced in their area, like in terms of some people niche down, or, if they're in business a long time, then they may be also a mentor. So I suppose there is a line between, coaching, mentoring, training kind of a piece. But the mentor on the panel, not all of them are coaches.
Yes.
They're just people, and not just, these are just...
they're skilled people in their own area of expertise. Yeah.
Lots of experience, lots of knowledge. Now, some of them have coaching skills. They are mentors. So you're coming to them for, I suppose, that inner wisdom, that little bit of extra wisdom. So that's kind of, I suppose, in some ways, a mentor can talk to you more about the business that they're in.
Yeah.
A coach generally doesn't. A coach generally focuses completely on you, as a mentor does, but it's about you finding your path and I suppose identifying your own goals. If that makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, I would sometimes say, I think a good coach, if they're coaching somebody in their own area or where they've got background and expertise, a good coach is also going to mentor somebody.
Yeah.
And equally, I think mentors who are really good at what they do have a kind of a coaching approach to that. And they're not telling people what to do, but they're coaching them and supporting them, I suppose, in growing and developing. But if there's an obvious, do it this way, it works, a mentor's going to tell you that, and it can really cut to the chase.
Yeah, absolutely. And interestingly, this year, what we're doing is we are developing a training program for the mentors. Great. So that they will obviously get their induction, but it's going to be a mentoring program in terms of teaching them coaching skills, teaching them skills to be, I suppose, more effective mentors.
Yes.
Because they're nice skills to have. They're really good skills to have. And it's nice that, we can give something back as well to the mentors. The mentors are giving of their own time,
Sure.
So just in terms of the mentoring for success, then it means if there's over 50 mentors, you can access any one of them or all of them once. So like if you were really dedicated, I haven't seen anybody do this, but if you were really dedicated, you could actually book one once a week. And you would have your mentoring sorted for the whole year.
Yes.
Do you know? Now, I haven't seen anybody do that, but I have seen people avail of a variety of mentors. Now, the other thing I've seen as well, which I think is really interesting, is that, you could have 4 mentors on one area, we'll say marketing or finance or whatever. They will all have very different perspectives. Yeah. So you can access the 4 mentors in the finance section if you want to, because they will have different perspectives and they'll have different ideas on how, it could help your business.
Yeah, it's an amazing support for members. There's no doubt about that. So in something like that, like you say, people could try out different people and then maybe decide, yes, I'd like to work with that person. What, in general, if listeners aren't members, or if they've done some of that and they want to maybe work with somebody longer term, how do any of us know who the right coach is for us? How do you determine if somebody is a good fit for you? What would you suggest to listeners?
Okay, so this might sound awful, but my first advice would be to shop around.
Yeah,
me too. Just like anything else, if you were buying clothes, if you were buying a service, you're investing in something. If you were buying a car, you're not going to go for just the first car. You might in the end, but I would suggest
back to it. Yes,
you may go back to it and say, listen, that actually is the best one ever. So for me, I just feel really strongly about that. You have to shop around, because I'm not for everybody and you're not for everybody either.
Absolutely.
But I am for some people. So they need to find out, who's the right person, who's the right fit. So first things first, what I would say is get on LinkedIn, get on social media, get on the website, have a good look around, and really get a sense of who that person is.
Yes.
If you see videos, if you see interviews, just really get a sense of what they're about. find people who've used them before.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I while referrals I absolutely think is great, you need to check for yourself whether that person is the right fit for you as well.
Exactly.
Right? So, but recommendations, absolutely,
Yeah.
So I think that's, for me, that's really important. Recommendations, testimonials. LinkedIn is a really good way of kind of getting to know somebody as well.
Sure.
I think, in terms of the recommendations and stuff.
Yes.
So that side on one side, but the other side is a bit like the mentoring for success. You got to meet them.
Yeah.
And you've got to see, what is the right fit. And I would almost suggest move back another 2 steps, get clear about why you want to be, why you want to be coached. Get clear about, and you may not be 100% sure. It may be the case that I'm stagnant in my life, in my work, in my business. I'm struggling with such and such. But just even if you can get to that stage, you can narrow down the kind of coach you want to work with.
Yes.
Yes. And then and it's okay to shop around. It's okay to meet more than one coach the first time round.
I would say.
To suss them out. And because sometimes, back to the car or the house or whatever, sometimes the first time you buy a house or a car, no idea what you're looking for. So sometimes by actually meeting the first person, you'll actually work out what kind of questions or what kind of thoughts you have around it. Yes. And that your questions or your perception or your intuition around it will get better with time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I know you and I both offer like a chemistry call or a discovery call. And those are typically free. And I think that's a great way, isn't it? For somebody to have a conversation, say that, this is what's going on for me. I need some help. What kind of help do you offer? And you can check out. Do I?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And I think also, most coaches, not all of them, but most coaches offer more than even the discovery call. So say, for example, we say, I've got my Light-Hearted Women, and it might be, we'll say, a lower priced offer. So you get to know the person and get to see what they're like.
Exactly.
So, and the thing is, it's about, working out how much coaching do you want, or, what specific area it is. Yeah. So it really is, it is an element of trial and error, but it has to feel right. Yeah. It has to feel right at the end of the day.
The
and
relationship
it's no fault on anybody if it doesn't. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I do think, I know in therapy they talk about the relationship being the most important thing.
Yeah.
I think who was said that. But, they talked about it doesn't actually really matter a whole lot what the approach is if the relationship is there and the intention is really good. Yeah. So like you're saying, getting to know the person. I just recently did a whole 2-day workshop, for example, and that's a great opportunity for somebody to come and hear the kind of approach and see the person and get a sense of the person.
Yeah.
So
But I've also seen, I suppose I've had clients come to me, and they may have maybe only met one coach ever. And not that they would have embarked on it, but even just met and went, oh no, that's not for me. Even though it wasn't that the coaching wasn't for them, it was just that the chemistry wasn't there.
Yes.
And then they kind of pull away and
think it's the whole thing.
Yeah. And they could leave it for another 6 months. So just to be aware that if you are thinking about investing, because it is an investment.
Yes.
It's an investment because it's time, it's money, it's your own emotional investment in it.
Exactly.
So just, give it the time to find somebody and find the right person. So the mentoring for success is actually a really good way of getting to know who everybody is, and kind of it's almost, and I'm not calling it the chemistry call. You can have your chemistry call another time.
Yes.
But it is a nice way of kind of feeling comfortable with meeting people for 45 minutes.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about this before today, but I'm just going to put it out there around the difference between one-to-one and group coaching, because I know you do both and I mostly do group coaching. So a lot of people listening might think, well, and I find this often, people say, it's personal. I'm going into a group. Like, why would I have coaching in a group? So maybe we could tease that out a little bit.
Okay, let me think about that now. I suppose, in my experience, I suppose I have, as I said, my Light-Hearted Women, we meet every week, Tuesdays 11 o'clock and 8 o'clock actually. But we meet every week. There's a group of women there. And what I find is the power of the group is it moves things. I suppose what I've noticed is that the people grow a lot in confidence being part of a community and being part of a group.
Yes.
Where I suppose people feel listened to, they feel that other people understand, they're not alone. Because I suppose sometimes one-to-one, you're obviously working on your own goal, you're working on your own plan. You can have both as well. I have, clients who are one-to-one who are still in my Lighthearted Women because they enjoy that interaction and that contact and that community with people.
Yeah.
I'm actually feeling it as opposed to even thinking it here now. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of my Lighthearted Women. It's so powerful because I think what happens is that in a group as well, everybody gets an opportunity. When I'm with the Lighthearted Women anyway, everybody gets an opportunity to say something, and it's always supportive, obviously, and encouraging. But there's very insightful from lots of different perspectives.
Yes.
And I think that's, for me, that's the part that I think is really important. And the other side of that then, right, is that while I'm receiving all these words from other people, all these other people are actually being valued and respected for the words that they're saying as well, because everybody has wisdom.
That's the thing.
So for me, it's about that, I'm the facilitator, but I feel incredibly empowered and just so proud of the women and how far they have come in their confidence to be able to, speak up and feel that their opinions count as well. And I think that's where I'm coming from it, as well as having the practical, how do you do this and how do you do that?
Yeah, but you cut to the chase.
Yeah.
With some of those questions.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I would say exactly the same. It's like the rising tide raises all boats. In my experience, sometimes, when we're in group and somebody asks a question, you didn't even know you needed to ask the question. Do you know what I mean? But by being in the group and somebody else asks it and you think, oh my God, I needed to know that as well. And I think, if we think back to Napoleon Hill, who's sometimes seen as the kind of person who captured what masterminding is all about. And he talks about how, one battery has so much power, but when you link all those batteries together, like the power is absolutely amplified. And I think that's the benefit of group coaching. And not to say it has to be one or the other, but just to reassure people who maybe hadn't considered that as an option or wondered why would you do that. I think that's why we do it. It's very, very powerful as an intervention.
And what I've found as well is that because of the Lighthearted Women, a lot of the women that I work with feel a lot more comfortable going into networking events.
Okay.
Because they now feel strong enough, I suppose, or confident enough to be able to speak to other people.
Yes.
And I think that's an amazing byproduct of it as well, Now, one-to-one is incredibly powerful as well.
For sure.
And if you have a particular goal, if you have a particular project, or if you have a particular direction, or if you don't feel like you are ready to go into group, coaching or mentoring or whatever, then one-to-one is the way to go.
Yes.
And, like I said, everyone needs a coach.
Yes.
Everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs a mentor. We all have them informally already.
Yeah.
To have a formal one who's got your interests completely.
Yes,
at heart.
You can catapult things, can't it? And I think that's a wonderful note for us to end on today. I want to thank you so much for your time and your insight and the inspiration that you've shared with us. Listeners can find out more about Anna at annahealy.ie. Just a few thank yous as well to Network Cork and the organising committee this year, and especially to Paula Scopetta and Lorna Horgan. They're the Network Cork podcast team. I think they're doing an amazing job in terms of developing the series and developing our understanding maybe of some of these kind of core themes, and coaching being one of them. And to all our listeners, it's all about you. It's all about you. We have a few more podcasts to go on this theme of coaching. So if you have a question or a point of view or an experience that you'd like to share with us, that we could explore and develop our understanding all together, I'm really inviting you to email me directly at maeve@maevelankford.com. And for now, to say our goodbyes, and from the bottom of my heart, I think we can say, everybody needs a coach. And if you're grappling with something at the moment, know that working with the right coach can absolutely catapult your growth and create a breakthrough with you and for you. Thank you so much.